Guys, it's Stephen here, back with another video already. These games are coming so thick and fast at the moment that I'm already tired. It already feels like April, May of the season already. But City are playing Marseille in the Champions League after already starting this campaign with a 3-1 victory against Porto, of course. And it's already a pretty interesting game. I'm going to preview this game today, talk about the team news, go for all the Guardiola's quotes from the press conferences, talk a little bit about Marseille, and try, as ever, in vain, to predict Manchester City's lineup and the score. I'm probably going to get both wrong because that's pretty much Manchester City these days. Predictably unpredictable is how I'll put it. But I'm going to start initially about this game and what it kind of means. Of course, we're following on from a decent victory against Porto, a 3-1 victory last time with Aguero scoring a penalty. Of course, he won't be involved. Gundogan and Ferran Torres last time. It was a good victory. Not a great performance, but a good victory. And now this is obviously a chance to try and put the Champions League group stage to bed as soon as possible and keep going. And Guardiola, of course, was also talking about that. He was asked about qualifying early and if that's a goal. And he said, it would be a dream, but I'm always thinking it's important to qualify early and come back in the last 16. We played an incredibly tough game, and the second one in France is tough for the physicality, but they are talented players, which is very, very true. I mean, obviously, given this season, what you want to be able to do is get this group stage out the way as soon as possible. So then, at least for the last couple of games, if you win the first four, which is very possible, of course, fingers crossed, at least then you can maybe rest a player here or there and give some of the academy lads a game, maybe, and just essentially ease the burden on the squad. So that's got to be City's focus for this game. Guardiola also was interestingly asked about the double pivot. He said, sometimes they use a double pivot, sometimes just one. It depends on the way we want to play. Gundogan can play attacking or holding midfielder. Rodri more as a holding. He said Dino, I guess Fernandinho. I love how he says Dino, by the way. It's quite cute when you hear the nicknames. He said Dino is going to play this season in midfield because we have enough central defenders when they are fit, which is good to hear. This is where you want him to play. He said Gundogan has the quality of small spaces and incredible vision to make a passing behind the lines. They are so important for us. I actually think that's one of the things that got lost the other day after West Ham, that Gundogan, even though he wasn't perfect, did actually make some really good passes over the top that we fluffed, unfortunately. So fair play to Gundogan for that. He was also quizzed on a new striker because obviously we've got the injuries. He said, maybe we considered it and thought about it and another type of striker, but we could not. That's interesting, another type of striker. Is he referring to maybe like a Joao Felix or Messi type? Quite possibly. He said, when you decide to buy a striker, they have to be at the level of Aguero and Jesus, and we could not afford it. That is the reality. I'm not saying the club didn't want to do it in any position because they wanted to make a stronger team as possible, but we thought Sergio was coming back and we didn't expect Gabriel's injury. Sometimes it happens, which is kind of true. I mean, I thought it was pretty obvious personally that Aguero would be injured a lot this season, but maybe they're right that they couldn't afford it, and maybe it's all about a big one next summer. Who knows? But either way, there was his quotes. On to the team news. Guardiola has been recently at least, incredibly confusing when it comes to injuries. And he's constantly talking about different timescales for players. One day he's saying 6 weeks, one day he's saying 2 to 3 weeks, which we'll get onto in a second. He was also actually quizzed on his injury record. Not his injury record, personally, Manchester City's injury record. And he kind of defended a little bit. He said, everyone's got the statistics that in the Premier League, we have 47% more muscular injuries than the same period last season. It's not just about City, it's about everyone. So what he's saying that is, I don't know what the data is from this, but he's saying that, I guess City's maybe medic team or whatever, I've noticed that there's 47% more muscular injuries so far compared to last season across the Premier League. And that doesn't surprise me. Players are getting injured an awful lot at the moment. But in terms of actual updates, Kevin De Bruyne is back, as is Aymeric Laporte. He did say Fernandinho is only 2 to 3 weeks now, which is not too bad. He said 6 weeks initially. With Aguero, he was incredibly vague. He said it depends on the injury. When it is minimum, it will be 10 to 15 days. If it's longer, it will be 3 weeks to a month. I don't know. I would say just expect a month for that one. And he also said Nathan Ake is close to returning. I mean, we don't even know what's wrong with Nathan Ake, but I presume that means he's involved at the weekend. But unfortunately, he didn't travel in this game. Mendy as well is still injured, which is a shame. Guardiola talked how he still trusts him and all that kind of stuff, but he's just still injured. No timescale for Mendy, which is concerning. I would say it's concerning that they put no timescale on that at all. So on to the lineup. I mean, it's Guardiola, so you'll kind of go for a strongest team. I've been trying to think about what he could go for. I could be miles wrong as always, but I'm going to start obviously with the one place that you can definitely get right. What should be Zach Steffen now? But I'm going to say Ederson will be in goal, of course. And I think he'll go for a pretty strong back. He could actually make some changes. I was half inclined to say he'd put Cancelo at right back and Zinchenko left back, but I think Kyle Walker will just play. It's Kyle Walker. I know he was exhausted the other day, but I think Kyle Walker will play at right back. I think Laporte will get a start as well. I'm hoping Laporte will get a start alongside Diaz. I think Laporte's probably ready now, so I'm going to be bold and say Laporte. Though it could easily be Garcia. I might be wrong on that, but I'm just taking a random guess. He did say he could be useful in the game, so maybe it'll be that. Then Cancelo left back. Maybe Zinchenko. But I'm going to say he'll probably start Cancelo again. So Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo. Then I reckon Rodri will actually sit this one out. I've got a feeling Gundogan and Bernardo will be kind of both holding the midfield a little bit. So kind of like, and then Bernardo kind of playing as a holding, kind of like double pivot, but sometimes going forward. And I think De Bruyne will start. So I reckon Gundogan, Bernardo and De Bruyne in midfield. Going forward, we literally have no strikers. None. Literally zero strikers, because even Liam Delap is not eligible for the Champions League. He's not eligible despite being under 21 because he's only been in the club for less than 24 months, so he's not eligible. So we have no Gabriel Jesus, no Delap, and no Sergio Aguero, which means Foden or Sterling are definitely playing as a striker. And we both know this is going to be we all know this is going to be true. What should be Ferran Torres now? So I'm going to say Mahrez will start. I mean, he was involved in the press conferences. He was talking about how Marseille, one of his favourite clubs, I think he was a fan as a child. So Mahrez will start. I'm going to say initially it will start with Sterling through the middle before Foden eventually goes there, with Sterling then or Foden on the left. I would love to see Ferran Torres get a game, but I don't know, I've got a feeling he won't do it. I mean, I would start him. I would start him even ahead of Sterling at the moment because I think he needs a rest and Torres needs a game. So I think that's what I'm going to go for in terms of the lineup. I could be miles wrong, of course. But who knows, man? It's fucking Man City these days. You're just guessing and hoping for the best. In terms of the opposition, Andre Villas-Boas. Do you know what? I'd forgotten all about him, genuinely. Did anyone else forgotten all about Andre Villas-Boas? He's currently their manager. What has he been up to? I mean, what has he been up to, Villas-Boas? He was over at Zenit for a while, if I remember. Then he was at Shanghai. He took a year or two out. Now he's back at Marseille, which is pretty cool. And he was really, really positive as well about Guardiola, actually. He was talking about how he's just essentially a big fan and he's chatted football with him. But anyway, Villas-Boas is managing Marseille and they've got a pretty decent team. Bernardo did comment as well in their form recently. Bernardo Silva said, I saw that they beat PSG at the beginning of the season 1-0, which they did indeed. Both teams had a player sent off, from what I can recall. He said, now they are not in a good moment. This is what Bernardo said. I think in the last 5 matches, they've won just one. But anyway, I think that Champions League is always a special moment. I love that. But anyway, I think Champions League special. Just random, like, PR trained answer at the end there to please the sponsors. But they're currently sat in 4th in the French division, the Ligue 1 at the moment. I don't know why I did that so French. They're currently sat at 4th at the moment. They played 4, won 4, drawn 3 and lost 1. Not the worst form in the world, but not the best. They beat Lorient recently. I think they beat Bordeaux 3-1. Was it 3-1 or something like that? They drew with Lyon as well. And of course, they did beat PSG back at the start of the season. They lost their first Champions League game 1-0 against Olympiacos, which wasn't a good result for them at all. So they will be desperate, of course, to try and get something in this game. And they have got a fully fit squad, according to a preview I read. I don't know if it's true or not, but according to one preview, they've got a fully fit squad. And they have got some good players as well. Well, obviously, we all know about Dimitri Payet. He's got a lot of magic in his boots. He's the kind of guy who'll put a free kick in the top corner. So don't give him the chance to do that, Manchester City. Boubacar Kamara was linked, obviously, to Premier League quite a bit over the summer. Decent player. Then you've got as well Florent Thauvin. He's really dangerous. Scored plenty of goals throughout his career. Once at Newcastle, kind of flopped, but came back and has become a bit of a goal scoring machine for Marseille, really, if being honest. Scored a few goals this season already as well. Kind of like Robin-esque. He just cuts in on his left foot and he can ping them in. Very explosive player. Marseille have got some decent players. Having said that, well, yeah, I mean, they have, bloody hell, I mean, if Lyon can beat us, maybe Marseille can as well. Having said that, I think City should hopefully have enough to beat them. We just don't know. And I mean, it depends on which Manchester City turns up, doesn't it? It really does depend on which Manchester City turn up. Glasses are off because I'm tired. It depends, you know. Like, if City do turn up and they play well, and we start that lineup maybe, potentially, it's a good midfield, good defence. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? We haven't got a striker, though, which is my biggest concern. We are impotent is the best way to describe it. We are genuinely firing blanks at the moment up front. Sterling is prone to missing a big chance. I mean, Foden can score and Sterling can score and Morris can score, but they're not reliable as it stands when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net. Having said that, I still feel like we might just have enough, maybe, to get through this game. I'm expecting us to concede a high-quality goal at some point. That's Manchester City will concede one. Payet will stick one in the top corner from 25 yards, almost guaranteed. And Marseille will be up for this in their kind of like aggressive kind of 4-3-3. So I'm going to say City will concede. But I think I'm going to go for 2-1 Man City. I mean, it could be basic. It could be 2-2. 2-2 is my cautious one. I'm going to say 2-1 City. I'm going to try and be positive. But that is my prediction anyway. Do let us know down in the comments what you make of this, I guess, this lineup, this prediction, this game. Are you nervous? City at the moment are a little bit underwhelming. But hopefully with De Bruyne back, the talisman, and Foden, maybe his energy on the pitch, we could turn the corner. Please, City. Please be good. I'll be back for a watch along tomorrow, and go watch my 5 Things Learned video from the West Ham game, which I only put out early today. It was a bit late, but it's there in all its glory. It's on the screen right now, and you can subscribe and the usual stuff. And City, please win in a bit.